Hey y'all, it's your girl Raven, also known as the Water Rose, and y'all know how this goes. I got something to say, okay? Period. So listen up because I'm back with another one. Being a little soft spoken right now because my daughter is asleep, but I don't really know what the name of this word is going to be called, but it is concerning. It's in regards to making the right choices, okay? And I just really don't know what the name of it is going to be. You're just going to have to see it when I post it. But it's truly about like how, you know, choosing the right path in life, like where it can lead you to. Like the right choices lead to the right destiny and the wrong choices lead to the wrong destiny, if that makes sense. I don't really know, like I said, a title, but this is really based off a movie that I saw, and this can be a Kingdom Spouse Words because, you know, it is surrounding relationships, making the right choice in a relationship, determining how your life can truly play out. If you choose the wrong person or if you choose the right person, it can really impact and influence everything else in your life. It can have an effect on everything else in your life. Okay? So I'm going to get to it. So guys, I'm going to explain the movie, okay? This movie is called Throwback Holiday, and it has people that we've seen like on TV, in our childhood. One of which, her name is Jennifer Freeman. She played on My Wife and Kids. She played in the You Got Served movie. She's played in a lot of different things. But she's mainly known for the daughter in My Wife and Kids. And we have, I don't know his name, but he played on One as Arnaz, One with Kyla Pratt. So the gist of the movie is the young lady that played the lead role that I just spoke about. Hold on. Anyway, so the point of the matter is she was living this life with the so-called love of her life, her high school sweetheart, the head of the football team. She was the head of the cheerleading team. And they were supposed to have this life happily ever after. But it really wasn't all it cracked up to be. She married this guy and her life was kind of miserable with him. He was big-headed. He was a jock like he was in high school. He was a jock inside the marriage. He didn't treat her properly. He pretty much was a liar, deceiver, cheater, heartbreaker, you name all of it. He had kids with this man. The kids was disrespectful, and the kids were just, she just didn't even connect with the kids. Like the kids just were unappreciative and ungrateful and talked to her any kind of way. And she just kind of ran herself to the ground. She was fixing everything, cleaning everything, cooking everything, and sitting there watching this man play in her face, letting a woman from his job pull up at the house while he go hop in the car with her, and he hugs on her and kisses on her and thinks that she's not standing right there at the door seeing it. But because, she has lost herself, she didn't even react. She just shook her head and was just like, well, guess this is my life. But, there's a twist to this story. Hold on. So yeah, Jennifer Freeman, like I forgot the name of her character in the movie. I really truly forgot. However, She had this best friend that she had from high school. They went out shopping one day and she was looking at herself in the mirror and was like, what happened to me? Like, look at me. I'm dressed like a granny. And then she ran into somebody else from their high school that was just dressed so nicely and so, bad looking, how they call people a baddie these days or whatever. And she was just like, wow, what happened to me? Like, look at them flourishing and, thriving and, in the career they want to be in. And I'm just sitting up here being a stay-at-home wife to a cheating husband and a mother to disrespectful, ungrateful kids, right? And her best friend was like, yes, girl, you need to remember who you are. Remember, you was head cheerleader. Remember, this, that, and the third. Like, just remember you was that girl in high school. And she started looking at herself in the mirror. She was like, you know what? I need to do something about that, So then, while they were out, they ran into somebody else they went to high school with, which was this nerd that her, Jennifer's character used to bully, and she saw him and she was like, wow, I recognize you. Or he recognized her and said her name. She was like, so-and-so, oh, wow, I remember you. And he was like, oh, you remember me? I didn't even think I was visible to you. You know what I'm saying? And here he is, he looking good, he looking nice, and he got money and whatever. He says, he starts explaining like, you was my crush, wooty wooty woo. And she was like, wow, you had a crush on me? Like, that's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? She's like, wow. And like, you're such a sweet guy, such a cool guy, whatever. He was like, can I, oh my God, all these noises. But he was like, can I just take you guys to lunch, get you guys a coffee, whatever? And she was like, I don't know. Still thinking about that no good husband she got at home. Like, why are you thinking about him? But he just clearly showed you he don't give a crap about you, right? And so she was like, you know what? Can't hurt. Lunch can't hurt. An old friend from high school. They went right, to this, was literally going in the same direction, kind of to the same restaurant. And so, they all sit down at the table, they start talking, start reminiscing. He starts bringing up stuff. Hold on. Yeah, so like I said, they start talking and reminiscing. He starts talking about times in school and how he was bullied, and they was asking about where each other were in life right now. He was like, well, yeah, I am married, but, basically letting it be known like the person he was with was using him for his money, and he knew that, but he still stuck with her. Then you can kind of tell that she wasn't really trying to say what she was going through, but he could pick up on the fact that she wasn't truly happy with who she was with. And then he just started staring at her and admiring her and just saying, well, if I was so-and-so, like it would have been this way. And I don't know, he was just expressing himself about like how he used to feel about her, like, but he was like, well, hey, we grew up, life is life now, whatever. And they both had a realization in that moment, like, dang, what if we would have been together? And he said something to her that stuck to her. And I can't remember the exact phrase. It makes me want to go to the movie to go see, but I'm going to just leave it to y'all to go to look at it, you guys, look at it yourself. He said something and made her think, like, dang, my life probably could be different, And she was kind of even sad about it. And then the best friend picked up on their energy between each other. So she was being funny, like, yeah, I got to go do this real quick. I'll be right back. I forgot something in the store. And just for them to have that alone moment so she can get the vibe, like, bro, like, this guy is still kind of in love with you. You still his crush. And, her best friend wanted her to feel that and see that and pick up on the vibe and get an understanding, like, baby girl, like, you can change your life if you want to. Both of you can, So that's one part. And then it leads to her going home. Oh, yeah. Oh, when they was at the table, she talked about how when they were in high school, her mom passed away. And the fact that she remembers somebody left her flowers, etc. And then he was saying like, yeah, I remember the day they announced it on the intercom and I left these flowers, at your locker or whatever. And she was like, whoa, that was you? And you left those flowers in that note? Like, that really meant a lot to me. I'll never forget that moment. And he was like, yeah, I just thought, something nice to do. And think you would really notice, but yeah, or whatever. So she starts to pick up on like, wow, like this guy was really paying attention to me, was really there for me, and in very subtle, not so seen ways. So yeah, that's that part. Hold on. So then she goes home. She's looking around. You know, the kids are not there. And she starts looking through her, how every movie they have a keepsake box and a yearbook and, stuff like that. So she's looking through all of that. And she's just reminiscing. She's missing her mom. She's playing old music or something that's like reminding her of something. And she just lays there with a memory on her heart and just like, oh, I just wish my life could be different, whatever. Like, how in movies, if you wish something, then it's just like, haha, boom, somebody's going to appear, an angel's going to appear, a guardian angel is going to appear, and something's going to happen where it gives you that choice, right? So then she goes to pick up her daughter from school, and she's reminiscing again, seeing her daughter in the cheerleading uniform, and like, dang, that's me. Like, that was me at one point in my life. And then she ran into this lady that said something to her, and it was on the lines of saying like, just remember, make a choice. She actually ran into this lady when she was at that lunch with the boy that, from high school. And that lady said something to her about choices. I can't remember verbatim, the exact words. But the lady said, you have a choice. Make the right choice or something. I can't remember the words. However, she just started reflecting. The next thing you know, she went to sleep. She woke up. And she was back in high school. Everybody in that era at that time were still, oh my goodness. Everybody in that era, in that time, was still themselves. But she was the only one who had traveled backwards. Sorry, y'all, these people, all these noises. She was the only one who had traveled backwards. So she knew everything differently. She was looking at herself like, oh my God, I'm in my old body. It's kind of like a Freaky Friday type of thing, the one with Lindsay Lohan and stuff, but not like switching bodies, but just time travel, right? And she was like, oh my God, look at me. I'm fine. I'm me again. Oh crap, I look good. You know what I'm saying? She was really hold up. I'm back in my high school days, in my high school body. What's going on? And she's freaking really her. She still had the same best friend, still had the same, was with the same person, the jock guy that she married and stuff like that. But during this time, she had the choice to get to see things from a different perspective and make a different choice. Pause. So to try to sum it up, she went to high school. She was with the head football player. She's with her same crew, all the jocks, so they say. This reminds me of the movie Love Don't Cost a Thing, I think, with Nick Cannon and Christina Milian. It's something exactly like that story in a way. The nerdy boy that doesn't, really get no play. You know what I'm saying? Nobody pays attention to him. He gets bullied, and he's very smart, into tech and into, all these things that people see is think it's lame. But this guy was really a great guy. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. But yeah. So this guy was really a great guy. The nerdy guy, again, that she ended up running into, in her actual reality, she went back to high school to see how it all was playing out. And it's her eyes were open to the truth. So again, she's with this jock, and the jock is bullying the nerd boy. And this time, instead of just standing there and letting this guy do it, this time she defended, my goodness, all these noises. This time she defended the geek, the guy who was like secretly in love with her, the guy who had a crush on her. She didn't let these jocks, these football players, these popular kids bully him anymore. She defended him. And then she started hanging out with him. She started to get to know him, but then she started seeing the true colors of the guy she first chose and was like, why did I even choose him? Like, why? Because he's a football player? Why? Because, you know what I'm saying? Like, what did I choose him for? He's not even a good person. And she started to truly see that. And, oh, how can I put this? She started to see the true colors of the guy that she chose and ended up leaving high school with and marrying this guy, and understanding that her life played out the way it did, and it was the way that it was because she chose wrong, pretty much. But then she started getting acquainted with the nerdy guy, and they really started, hanging out and kicking it and, kind of dating a little bit. But her beginning to choose someone different, someone you wouldn't typically choose or look at, and the one everybody deems unfavorable in their eyes, she chose him. And that jock was kirking out, like he was going off, and he kept trying to bully the boy even more because she started to realize, like, I don't even want you. And she started to realize, okay, what that guardian angel said was like, the choices. I need to make the right choice this time. So anyway, pretty much to try to wrap it up, she starts dating the nerd guy instead of the, popular guy. And she even helps her best friend in the process. She sees like what their future is going to be if they don't make better choices. So she even tells her best friend, like, hey, that football player or that guy that's giving you all that attention, don't get with him. Don't stick with him. He only wants you for one thing, and you're going to try to marry him and you're going to be disappointed. Like, because she had already been in the future, but this is her coming back now. So she's able to correct a lot of wrongs, correct a lot of things that she wasn't able to correct before. So even down to the fact that she lost her mom, now she was even able to change the dynamic of that. Because before, she was so wrapped up in the popular kids, the popular guy, that relationship that wasn't even truly no good for her. The guy was a nasty man. And now that she was with this, the nerd guy, the unpopular kid, it's like something opened her eyes. And again, she kept reflecting back on the lady she ran into that was telling her about the choices she could make. And she said, you know what? One day they were just walking. She was just walking with the guy, the unpopular dude. And she reflected and was like, oh my God, this is the same day back then before that my mom passed away. And it was because I wasn't home to take her to the hospital. And she reflected, she paused, she said, hold on. Oh my God. I can make this choice. I can change the narrative. So she raced home. She found her mother on the floor. And this time she was able to make it home, get her mother to the hospital on time. The mother got a surgery and it saved her mother. And instead of her losing her mom got more time, was able to live life. Come on now. And then the moral of the story is she stuck with the unpopular kid. They got married. They had kids. She had a beautiful life. He was making pancakes, breakfast for her, doing everything for her, treating her properly. She looked better. She dressed better. She got to accomplish her dreams and everything she put on hold for that other guy. And, she got to open up her business, have her her doctor practice or whatever that she wanted to have. She still had the same amount of kids, actually one more extra, because with the other guy she had 2 kids, but those kids was disrespectful and nasty and ungrateful. But with this guy, because she chose differently, she had beautiful kids who were nice, who were loving, who were respectful, and the guy she chose was respectful, and her mother was still living, and they were still able to move forward with family traditions and be happy, and she had a different life. Pause. So the moral of it all is the choices that you make can determine your destiny. Who you choose to be with can determine whether everything around you is chaotic, is depressing, is miserable, if your dreams will die, if your dreams will live, if you'll have a good supportive partner, or if you'll have kids who are ungrateful and disrespectful. Her going back in time and making a better choice, I feel the Holy Spirit, my God, it gave her a different destiny. She was able to live. So this goes to show that you can make the choice to be with that toxic man. You can make the choice to be with that man who was abusive to you, who didn't truly see you, who didn't care about your dreams, who disrespected you, who dishonored you, who cheated on you, who lied to you, who made you feel miserable, who made you forget about yourself. The one that made you sit up there and he was a home wrecker himself. And the one that made you sit up there and question your identity, question your confidence. To choosing a man, oh God, it almost makes me want to cry. Choosing a man who allows you to live again. Who allows, I want to cry so bad, who allows you to see you for who you really are, who doesn't allow you to lose yourself, who doesn't allow you to lose yourself and forget your identity and lose your confidence and forget who you are and forget all your dreams, forget your ambitions, forget your goals. This is deep, guys. Staying with a man who would literally put you in position that kills everything around you. That movie showed me that her choosing the wrong man killed her mother. But her choosing the right man brought her mother back. Her choosing the right man gave her mother more time. Holy Spirit, help me. Her choosing right gave her a better chance at life when she could have died in that place. She could have sunk in that place. She could have rot in that place with that man if she chose wrong. She even saved her best friend's life, who chose different, and now even her best friend now has a loving man. And someone who wouldn't cheat on her and dog her and just want to give her kids and then later on be divorced. Y'all, I'm like literally shaking because this is so real. This is so real. Everything is not tied around a person, but who you choose to marry matters. Who you choose to be with matters. Who you choose to have kids with matters. The fact that she chose somebody who was so disgusting towards her, even the kids. But then when she made a different choice, the support and the love that she got. And then down to the kids being even more sweeter and more nicer and more respectful because she chose differently. Guys, it's a testament to my own life. That's why I was in tears, because we make these choices. God, help me. We make these choices that are not God's choices. We make these choices that lead us down a path of destruction, that lead us down a path of misery, And that's going to lead to the scriptures that I'm going into. She first went for the person who had status. Who had status, who had the look, who was popular. That in our world today, we go for people who have the likes, who have the looks, who have the perfect image, who have all the finances, all the things, whoever have it all together already. Versus a person who is just normal, who just sees somebody that he can love properly, who just sees somebody that he saw somebody pertaining to this movie. He saw somebody like, I want to love her. She deserves better. But they don't see me because I have glasses and I'm smart and I look and seem like a nerd and I'm not into the same things that they're into. I'm not a sports player, so they overlook me. And again, that ties into today's world, like a person like me or anybody who may not have it all. But they have the blueprint, they have the ambition, they have the goals, they have, the ability to accomplish things, but may not have the resources. That goes right into like the story of Ruth and Boaz, how Ruth didn't have nothing. But she went in that field and she did what she had to do. She didn't owe nobody anything, but she said, you know what, I'm going to give my loyalty to my mother-in-law. They both lost their husbands. Her son was her husband, and then Naomi lost her husband as well, which was her father-in-law. But Ruth still chose, I'm going to stick with this lady. I'm going to figure something out. I'm going to take care of her. I'm going to go find some work. And in that field, because of her humbleness and her purity is what Boaz saw. Pause. Like I said, with the story of Ruth, Ruth wasn't expecting anything. But see, it's when you least expect it, when you think nobody's watching you, when you think nobody sees you, when you think nobody notices you, when you think you're being overlooked, when you have been overlooked, when you have been mistreated, or when you have lost it all, when you're down to the last, is when somebody is not going to see what you have. Somebody, is not going to see what you don't have. They're just going to see your heart. They're just going to see your purity. They're just going to see your helicopter. They're just going to see your authenticity. They're just going to see like, you deserve happiness, you deserve love, and I want to do that for you. I want to give that to you. I have all this stuff. I don't need all this stuff, but it just so happens that I have this stuff. I have a mansion. I have a house. I own these fields. I own this company. I own this. And I want to take care of you. There's somebody out there for you, ladies, whoever, men too, that's going to see you for you, going to love you for you, and not care about the status, not care about if you have money or you don't. If you getting 13,000 likes or not. So, overall, your choices determine your destiny. I don't know if that's what this is going to be called. I'm really working with God. Like, what do I say this? Like, make the right choices. Your choices determine your destiny. What? I don't know. But the point of it all is your choices do determine your destiny. Your choice of partner and who you marry especially. It can kill everything around you, or it can allow everything around you, including yourself, to live. My God. So I have some scriptures. I don't know if I'm really going to go over them. I might just put them in the description, but I'll see. Hold on. So I do have two scriptures. I really don't even want to read them, but I am, because sometimes y'all don't look at the description. But The first one is 1 Corinthians 15 and 33 through 34. I believe it's the ERV version. It says, "Don't be fooled. Bad friends will ruin good habits. Come back to your right way of thinking and stop sinning. Some of you don't know God. I say this to shame you." This scripture is just basically saying, like I said, your choices determine your destiny. Who you decide to be around you will determine whether you're going to have a miserable life or a happy life. That's just like if you don't want to smoke and you don't want to drink and you keep hanging around people who smoke and drink, then eventually you're going to dive into that. You know? Some people say, like, you are who you hang around. That's kind of true. You know, because eventually you're going to fall into something that they're doing that you would not necessarily do. That's just like you can be trying to keep yourself pure, but if you have a man that keeps coming around trying to tempt you and telling you, oh, it's going to be all right, and trying to get you to that space, you might fall for it. So, yeah. Anyway. And this ties into choosing the right partner. That partner, if they're a certain way, you know, it can corrupt you. It can make you do things that you wouldn't necessarily do. Just like everything that I just explained about that movie, how the way that man was determined the way his children was too, in some senses. He was disrespectful. The kids was disrespectful and had no respect. So yeah, I was saying Proverbs 7:21 through 27. It says, "This is what the woman said to tempt the young man, and her smooth words tricked him. He followed her like a bull being led to the slaughter. He was like a deer walking into a trap, where a hunter waits to shoot an arrow through his heart. The boy was like a bird flying into a net, never seeing the danger he was in. Now, sons, listen to me. Pay attention to what I say. Don't let your heart lead you to an evil woman like that. Don't go where she wants to lead you. She has brought down some of the most powerful men. She has left many unalived, bodies in her path. Her house is placed of death. The road to it leads straight to the grave." Now, it's certain words I can't say because I don't want them to like block my video and think I'm like saying some crazy stuff. But and I didn't even realize that my little light that I have was so low. Now my face looks kind of brighter. It's crazy. But and it really like shows y'all my eye color. Like, ooh, I have some beautiful eyes. Anyway, the point of this scripture is, because this is more of a serious word, so gotta make you laugh a little bit. But this scripture is for a man or a woman. Just basically saying, don't let somebody lead you down the wrong path, and it just leads you down the road to destruction pretty much. People who come in and smooth you over with their words and their lies and the deception makes it seem like they're going to be at all of these things, and they turn out not to be. And it just leads you into things you don't necessarily want to be in. And it leaves you in a trap. And then sometimes in some of these circumstances, who we call narcissistic people, they lead you in, they reel you in only to spit you out. They lead you in, they reel you in. Because their real determination is to shoot an arrow through your heart and hurt you. So we have to overall be careful with our choices. Our choices determine our destiny. There's women out here who are Jezebels who will lead you, men of power, of prominence. Soon as you get to this high peak, they come and pull you right down. You think you found the one, and then boom, they shoot their arrow. I have seen it, and I do see it in today's time. It's these men that maybe came from nothing, but they worked so hard to come up. And then once they come up, all their exes want to pop up, and all of a sudden, you just stuff. Just like the movie, he was a nerdy guy. Nobody paid attention to him, but oh, he came up. He's really smart. He got this money, and now these Jezebels and Delilahs want to attach themselves to him, and that's not made for him. And you just sitting up there spending your money on a woman and unhappy for real, and wish you had a different type of deep type of love, but you chose this person. You know what I'm saying? You end up choosing the wrong person. For women too, like, allowing these men to come and just use and abuse us when they don't have no intentions of truly taking care of our heart, truly loving us the way we desire to be loved. People coming to just take from you. Leading you down the wrong path, right into a grave. A life full of misery and despair because you made the wrong choice. I'm stop there. So yeah, overall, this is the end of the word. I'm going to probably say that this is probably going to be called Your Choices Determine Your Destiny. So make the right choice. Please, men, don't fall for because it all looks okay. Really understand, like, just because this woman has a status, just because this woman is flourishing on social media, just because this woman has this or has that, doesn't make her right for you. And be careful of the woman who can't connect with you on a deep level and just wants your hand and what you can give her. She wants your love. She's there for what you can give her. But I'm sure she probably won't be able to give you back exactly what you're looking for. She won't be able to love you and reciprocate to the deepest level that you desire. And then you'll be stuck and miserable because you married somebody who was all about the money, the fame, the look of it, the image. Oh, I got the man that everybody wanted, or oh, I got, And for women, be careful too. Don't fall for the man that's all about the money and all about, oh, I'm popular, I'm this, you should want me. I'm this and I'm that, you should... I can have what I want. I can do what I want. Like, no. Fall for the man that may not all look up to par. Fall for the man who is overlooked. That people don't, wouldn't really normally look twice at. Because I'm not saying you got to date somebody that's ugly or anything. I'm just saying, like, sometimes there's people we overlook and think we need this person with the status, but there's a person who will love you so good and make sure that you live and make sure that your dreams won't die and that you won't drown in misery. And make sure them kids respect you too and have some respectable children. Okay? So anyway, that's the end of the word, guys. Everything is going to be in the description. Everything. Ways to sow, ways to contact me, all of that stuff as usual. And again, the right choices or, your choices lead to your destiny. And I love you all. Peace out.